Hello, Pile 1, and welcome to this Crushbuster reading. Now, before we begin, I do want to point out that these are meant to be quick and painless, mostly because I want for them to be as broad as possible. The more details we get to in a reading, the more niche it becomes, and the less people it becomes true for. And so these are meant to be vague, and that's why it's a yes or no kind of dynamic. Now, tarot doesn't really suit itself for quick yes or no. Tarot likes to likes to give you the details, and so that's why it's gonna be the question that I'm asking with tarot is there hope within this connection between you and this crush for anything to happen? Now, that's what tarot is answering. Before we get to that, the Lenormand cards are meant to be confirmations for you. Now, this part is important. When we develop feelings for someone, to whatever degree, it's a lot easier for our ego to start to stretch itself, to start to project our desires onto whatever we're consuming. And so when we are watching love readings and pick a cards, we can sometimes, if we're not careful, project the message onto who we are currently wanting, even though that message might not be about them at all. And so you want to be kind of discerning to really make sure that what I'm saying in this first part with the Lenormand cards at least mostly describes the crush that you have in mind. And if it doesn't, then there's just not a reading. This isn't the one for you. Maybe one of the other piles might ring true. I do intend to continue to do this reading. This is the first time I'm doing it. So there might be other options by the time that you watch this. I know that there are other similar readings out there by other readers. So, this isn't if the first part isn't true, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a yes or a no for you and your crush. It just means that I don't have a message that's going to be accurate for you right now. Okay, all of that being said, let's get into your reading. Now, who is this person? To describe them, we have messages. Okay, so not all of these things have to be true, but again, you want most of these things to be true. So with Tower, we have someone that's going to be tall, if not in stature, then in energy. This is someone who, for whatever reason, commands attention or knows how to draw it in whatever way, shape, or form you would know that. I mean, obviously, they've gotten your attention, but this is someone who would get a lot of attention. You're not the only person who would have eyes on this person. For whatever reason, it might be that they're attractive, sure, but they might have a phenomenal personality or whatever else it is that draws them that attention. Someone who commands a lot of attention. Tower also describes some type of isolation, whether this is a loner, someone who does prefer to spend time alone, so maybe they're a little bit of an introvert, or a genuine loner who just, they don't really like people. It could go to like a degree of like, not misandry, misanthropy, where they just don't like people in general. It could be that, if not that type of isolation, it could be like they spent some time away from like people. I'm getting jail for whatever reason, but another thing that could be coming through is like if you've known this person like when you guys were going to school before college and they went away for college, like they went somewhere else for a while and then came back here, like something like that, where they went somewhere where they were away from some sort of group that they are used to being in, and then either came back to it or they've just stayed away, and that's that isolation that we're talking about. So Tower is talking to some degree of isolation, whether it's that they're a loner, they don't like people, they're a little bit of an introvert, or they've spent some type of isolation for some period of time, or they continue to do so at this point. With Book, this is someone who, this is kind of, you apply it as you need to. One thing that's coming through is they're very smart, very intelligent, and or very well educated. Like they've kind of what I was saying with that first card, where maybe they went away to college, and so that's one of those things. Like it's a defining feature for this person that they've gone to school, and maybe they've gotten maybe they're the first person in their family, or something about like their academics, their intelligence being central to maybe the way that you look at them, or just the way that they come across to people in general. book could also be talking about someone who knows a lot of secrets. So whether they know your secret, so you've known this person a while, or you know a secret about them, or something like that. Another thing that I'm getting from book is that they might, and this, again, this doesn't have to be true for all of you, but it's kind of like they don't really care about the world around them. They might just be solely invested in what's right in front of them or their own interests in their own life, and they don't really care about anything else. Kind of to co-sign that message that I was talking about earlier about like misanthropy. Like they don't really like people, and so they don't really care to be in world affairs or like little workplace dramas, if this is a workplace thing, or like community dramas or any type of drama. They're just like, that's not for me. So it could be like any of those things. Now with Scythe, the lightest message I have with Scythe is that this could be a very quick person, which could mean that they're very quick-witted, or just you notice them and they work really fast, or they move really fast, or they do things really quickly. Beyond that, they get a little more intense, where you could recognize that this person's cutoff game is really strong. Like maybe that's why they don't hang out around a lot of people, because they're just not very forgiving, or they just don't have the patience for that. But what's really coming through with Scythe is that like sense of they feel lethal. Like you might be very intimidated to go talk to them, maybe because you've seen them cut people down before, or even if maybe they're the sweetest person. You've never witnessed them be anything but nice, even to you, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you've never interacted with them. I don't know what it would be. Maybe like but for some reason there's this energy of like, don't go talk to them unless you know what you're going to say. Or like there being some type of risk or feeling of like maybe not complete danger, but just again like intimidation with the concept of going to talk to this person. So, okay, you want most of these things to ring true. If what I just described is in no way, shape, or form the person that I'm talking to you, again, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a no. It's just that right now, this message right here is not for you. If most of these things rang true, or all of them did, then hey, hello, welcome to your reading. Now, to get into what the tarot cards are saying of, is there a hope for anything between you and this crush? It's gonna be a no, but don't get mad. That's a good thing. It's a good thing that you not be with this person. But let me tell you why. Look at the way that these cards are showing up. We have the Queen of Pentacles, that's the Queen of Hedgehogs here over on the left. We have the Empress reversed, and then we have the Sun. Now, each of these cards is coming through very clearly as separate people. You are being represented by the Sun, and I'll get to you in a second. We're going to conclude with your wonderful message. But these first two, well, let's start with the Empress Reversed. The Empress Reversed is the person that we're talking about, is this the crush, the person that you have a crush on. And them being described as the Empress, a major arcana card, and you being described as the Sun, another major, is a validation as to why you feel so drawn to this person. You're not wrong in you recognizing a potential with this individual. You're right. You could build something with this person if they wanted to build something with you. Now, that with you part is going to range in varying degrees for you. Maybe it's that they just don't have those feelings for you. And it's just they're not looking at you, they're just not looking at you. Maybe that's true. For others of you, it's that they might like you, they might be giving you some attention, but what's clearly being shown, look at the way that the Empress is facing, because she's reversed, she's facing the card on the left, which is the Queen of Hedgehogs. And if you're kind of listening and you're not like looking at the cards, allow me to describe them to you. The Queen of Hedgehogs, and it's a 3-card tarot spread. On the left, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and she's facing the left. So she's not facing any cards. She's facing away from all the readings. It's the Alice in Wonderland tarot, like the Disney movie. And the Queen of Hedgehogs is a bird on top of her eggs on a nest. And she has her eyes closed because she's just minding her business here, taking care of her eggs. And that's what the Queen of Pentacles is. Someone who's minding their business and only their business, and the abundance that comes from them doing that. And so the Queen of Hedgehogs isn't describing you or your crush, but rather who or what your crush actually has their attention on. Who your crush is actually prioritizing. Now, who or what is going, again, to vary depending on your situation. I don't know if you'll have access to that information or not. If it's a who, this is someone who is not paying attention to your crush at all. They have too many things going on in their own life to worry about this individual. It could be that this person, again, kind of like I was describing them in relation to you, it could be that this person isn't even paying attention to your crush, has never paid attention, doesn't want their attention, doesn't care about that. Or it could be that they just don't look at your crush the way that your crush is looking at this individual, meaning that your crush has actual feelings for this person and this person's kind of just like, yeah, no, Buster, leave me alone. It could be that this Queen of Pentacles individual, don't let the fact that it's a Queen of Pentacles determine that this is a woman. It doesn't necessarily have to be. But it could be that this individual, take this if it resonates, maybe it might be a confirmation if nothing else. It could be that this individual has like a family, whether it's like they're married with no kids, or like they have kids, so that's what they're focused on. And if they're married, that's why they're not paying attention to your crush, because they have a whole partner. The point is that this person is not looking at your crush in the same way that your crush is looking at them. If it's a what, it's their career. It's the money that they're building. There's something that they are prioritizing over anyone else, over romance, over everything. And so they cannot give you the attention that, one, you could give them, but two, that you want back from them. Okay. That's very heavy. Take a second, because... yeah, but that being said, we can understand why you're being described as the sun. Because the sun, think of our solar system. The sun doesn't give a fuck about any of the other planets because she's right at the smack center of everything. Everything's rotating around her. We're really just here because she's doing her thing. So she's not really worried about anything else. And this is how you're being described. Even if you don't feel completely detached from this, even if you're feeling a little bummed by all this, what's being said about, like what's being communicated to me by you being described as the sun, is there are other things in your life that can generate the fulfillment and the joy that you are looking for in this connection. Meaning, you're probably overthinking and putting up on a pedestal this individual that you have no business putting there. Maybe if it is a workplace thing, it's one of those cases of like, you don't actually like them. It's just that you spend a lot of time around them and maybe they're the only eye candy around. Maybe this is someone who, they're not the worst, but they're not exactly what you want. And so you've overhyped the way that you actually feel about them, which is like ambivalence, but because they're what's around and maybe somewhat accessible, you're kind of taking it for more than what it actually is. The sun basically means not only are you better off not engaging in this individual's, I don't want to call it a mess. I mean, if it's like, they're focusing on their money and their career, that's not messy. That's just them focusing on themselves. That's a good thing. And you're basically being told like, you're not going to compete with that. So don't even bother. Like, just focus on yourself. If it's that they are messing with someone who's like married or who doesn't want anything to do with them, that could be a little messy and you're better off not being involved in any of that. The sun is basically saying you're better off not being with this individual, and you might not feel it anytime soon, but the sun, a new dawn will rise, new loves will come and find you because of who you are as a person. That will come to you. That will come your way. Don't be too bummed out about this not panning out the way that you want it to. Believe you me, it's better off that way, the way that the cards are coming through for you. I know that was kind of harsh. I really hope that it helped. And I hope to catch you at another reading. Godspeed, my friend. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to this Crush Buster reading. Before we begin, I want to point out that these are meant to be quick and painless, mostly because, when you have a crush, you just want to know yes or no if this is something worth investing your time and energy in the first place, because when we develop feelings or a crush to whatever degree for someone, we can be a little blinded by it. And so that's why that's why they're quick. But also, I kind of want to talk a little bit about how tarot itself doesn't lend itself very well to yes or no questions. And so the tarot portion of this reading is really meant as to, like, what I'm asking with the tarot cards is should pile 2 hold any hope for what's going on between them and their crush? For what, I didn't specify. I just kind of let the cards do what they're going to do. Before we get to that, though, the Lenormand cards are meant to act as confirmation for you so that you can see whether this reading is about your crush or not. You definitely want that portion of the reading, this first half, to be mostly true. If it's like half true or even less than that, I would click off. I wouldn't really take this reading as accurate. I wouldn't take that to mean, like, if 50% or less of it is accurate, I wouldn't take that to mean that it's a no. I would just take that to mean that I don't have a message for you in this pile. There might be one for you in another pile or with another reading. It's just not here for you today. Now, that being said, the more accurate it is, the more accurate that first portion is, the more accurate that second portion will be. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. Again, not all of it has to ring true. At least most of it should ring true. That being said, we have 3 cards in this first portion that's meant to confirm who they are for you. We have tree, birds, and bear. Now, trees grow tall, birds are up in the air, and bears are huge. And when they stand on their hind legs, they're pretty damn tall. This is triple confirmation of someone who is tall. At the very least, taller than you, but they're probably generally tall. So there's your first confirmation. If your person is shorter than you, this is not your reading. It was nice to have you. Thank you for trying. Thank you for being here. I don't have a message for you here today, though. Now, if your person is tall, or at the very least taller than you, what we're getting from these individual cards, and there is a message at the end from all these 3 cards at the end, but I'll get to that in a second. Trees. Tree is saying that this is someone who has either been growing something or they're starting to grow something. Now, this could be very many different things. Like, this is, they could be starting a business. They could be starting a new job. They could be sowing the seeds for a new life. And so you've maybe witnessed them close out like some chapters. And so you're seeing an effort in them trying to start anew in some way, shape, or form. Birds. I want to return to birds because birds is saying a lot. Bear is something it's a protective energy, so it kind of goes along with tree, where if whatever they're growing, they're very protective about. They're taking that very seriously. Another thing that I'm getting from bear is strength, because that's generally what the bear card means. Whether physical strength or not, it could be, but I'm very willing to bet that at least to something that you know about, you've witnessed, no pun intended, to. That was clever. I didn't even mean for that to go in there. But you've bared witness to some type of strength. You've witnessed them go through something harsh or whatever the case was, but you recognize them as strong. Birds. This is also going to vary, but birds is about an audience. Birds is about having attention. And again, this is going to range. All of these things could be true. One of these things could be true. On the one hand, it could be like, because birds is also gossip energy, so it could be that they're a gossip and that's something that you know about. It could be that you've heard gossip about them, which is, someone that gathers a lot of attention is going to be gossiped about. For whatever reason, you've heard some gossip about them. It could be on the other end of the spectrum. It could be someone who has an actual audience. So they have a podcast or a YouTube channel or some type of social media following that they post content for, or that they stand up in front of and speak. So it could even be if it's not social media, it could be for work that they talk to other people, or they are in some way, shape, or form multiple people listen to them. The point is, birds is they have some type of audience in some way, shape, or form. Now, to return to what I was talking about, these 3 cards are also giving another message. You know how bears, if you don't know this, when you encounter a bear, if that's even possible where you live, you're supposed to make yourself look big, yes, but you're also supposed to make a lot of noise. If you're out camping and you have cooking gear, you're encouraged to grab your pots and your pans and make a whole bunch of noise and yell and start to chase the bear. Not chase the bear, but start to but definitely not back away, but hold your ground. And if they start to move away, you're supposed to kind of like walk towards them slowly, continuing the sound to kind of encourage them to move away from where you're at. And I mean, wouldn't you know it, in birds, we have someone clanging a pot with a wooden thing. And then in tree, we were talking about how tree is something that they're growing and they're very protective about. So I'm seeing this whole scenario where this individual is here very protective about, they're very serious about this tree that they're growing. And they're seeing bear as like other people who might want to come and take from that, or just any type of predator. And here they're willing to chase that person away with a pot and pan, like whatever they need to do to like protect what it is that they need to protect. And it's kind of coming through as like, it might even be when it's unnecessary. So they might be like overprotective to the point where they're very secretive about it. Or maybe it's like another thing where like you've really witnessed them like push a lot of people away and they're very content on their own and taking care of what they're doing. And maybe this is why you're unsure in the first place, if this is something that you should hold out hope for. So, okay, this is what the Lenormand cards are describing to me. You, again, want for most of that to be true in order for the tarot portion of this to be true for you. If most of that is true, but not enough of it is true, go ahead and click off. But okay, to get into, is it a yes or a no for you? It's going to depend on you. Now, it's not a maybe as in, oh, you know, you have to see how things play out. No. You can decide for yourself right now if it's a yes or a no. It is only a yes if you know full and well, you have total confidence, you know without a shadow of a doubt that you are a match to this person's energy. Now, that doesn't mean that you're matching energy, doesn't mean that you're going to be patient enough for them to see you and you're going to be like the bear whisperer, or like, you know, the whisperer to this person. And, you know, if they see that I'm serious about them and that I'm not a threat to them, they'll see that they'll let me in. No. That's not what this person wants. This person wants someone who is equally motivated to not only protect what they've got going, but that they have something worth protecting. This person, I would even wager that this is someone who's not like looking for anything romantic. And so really the only thing that's going to catch their attention is someone that they can see something like equal in. Like this is someone like them who's like, this is someone who's building something and they're serious about it. That's what I'm not even seeing, like, I can't even say that that's something that they want. It's like, that's the bare minimum. Damn, that pun again. I'm on fire. And I'm not even trying. Anyways, they're not even looking for that. It's like the bare minimum for them is that they can see that in someone else, what they see in themselves, that they're very motivated and then they're taking their shit seriously. That's what's even going to get their attention in the first place. That's not even going to guarantee that they're going to like you. And so it really is only a yes. You should hold out some type of hope if you know that you are also growing your own shit and you're very protective about it and you're very serious about it. That's the only way that person's even going to maybe even take you seriously, not even look your way. That being said, you know, you need to really take in stride that, again, this person very likely isn't someone who's looking for anything serious. And you have to make your peace with that in the first place and then make your decision accordingly. Like, are you the type of person that's willing to put yourself out there and let this person know, like, hey, I'm interested. I'm serious about not only my own shit, but I'm serious about like taking this somewhere. Let's get to know each other. And it might take that type of like bluntness to even get this person to like even consider it. It might still be a no, and you kind of have to be okay with that. And even that might be something that this person respects. Even if it might not get them to like you back, they might be like, yeah, this person is serious about this shit and they're confident. Like, you need to like go into it with that mentality. That's the only way it's a yes. And even then it's like even then it's a maybe. Now, if you are thinking, you know, I'm working on my stuff, I'm not quite there yet, but I can catch up to them, it's a no. This person will recognize that you're not where they're at right now. And this is someone who's like, they're not, it's coming through as someone who, like, once they've made their opinion about you, it's really hard for them to change that opinion about you. And so if they know you now as someone who, like, they recognize as they're not where I'm at, they're always going to see you that way. And you're pretty much not going to change their mind about it. So you just, it's going to be a no. If you feel like you have to catch up, they already see you that way. This is true for like if they know you. If they don't know you and you just know them in this way, like for whatever reason, like, I don't know, maybe, I mean, let's be like completely, like, let's be real with each other. If you're asking about, like, because we talked about this person maybe being someone with a podcast or YouTube channel or some type of like audience, if you're asking about someone that you don't have a personal like, if this person doesn't know who you are, go ahead and leave now, sweetie. Don't bring a stranger's energy into a pick a card. That's weird. And if you don't get how that's weird, even if it's just like a little treat for you, no, like feeding delusions isn't healthy, and we're not about that here at this channel. These readings are for people that actually know you, to some degree. Now, that being said, if this person doesn't really like clearly see you, like maybe like they're your boss and you are one employee out of like a lot, to the point where you know that they don't really know you, then maybe keep your shit private and then catch up, and then maybe then come through and make sure that they don't pay too much attention to you during that whole time. Like, make sure they don't form an opinion about you before you're ready for that. But then don't take too long to like catch up to them, because then that's also gonna, like, just, again, just keep in mind that how the steadfastness of this person's mentality, and like keep that in mind. Now, finally, for those of us, or for those of us who just know we're just not a match for this person, and maybe they're just pretty to look at, and you're going to continue to keep this crush just because they're very impressive, do so. Keep doing that. But know that it's a no. This person isn't going to magically look at you and then be like, yes, I want to take care of this person. If you have this fantasy of you becoming part of the things that they are so protective about, maybe it's a nice fantasy to hold every now and again, but don't let it distract you from actually chasing things that are possible for you. Okay. I really hope that helped. Godspeed to you in all of your endeavors, and I hope to catch you at another reading. Bye. Hey, Pile 3, welcome to your Crush Buster reading. Now, before we begin, it's really important that the confirmations, which we're about to get into, with the 3 Lenormand cards on top right here, it's really important that most of that is true. The Lenormand cards are basically meant to describe your crush, and if it's like, if not enough of it is true, if like 50-60% or less is true, I don't have a message for you here today. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a no for you and your crush. It's just simply there's not a message for you here today. You really want for most of what I'm about to say to be true. Okay, that being said, this one is a little bit of a doozy because the 3 cards together tell me 2 different things. And it's gonna kind of range between all of you guys. This could be someone. This is the first message. If this isn't true, wait around for the second part of this message. The first thing that's coming through is that this is someone with whom you had something temporary with in the past. Whether it was like, you guys just dated for a little bit, or maybe it was less than that. Maybe we went to like some sort of event or a seminar and you sat next to them, or you clicked with them in that like specific moment, and something like really caught your eye about them. And so now you have a crush on them, but that was it. It was nothing too big. It was not something that lasted. It was not anything that grew into anything beyond that. And there's really, like, if the way to confirm that is like if that person and even you are not at that same space where you guys had met initially. The other thing that's coming through is that this person is enduring some type of ending, because one of the cards here is definitely talking about like not death, because it's not the tarot card, it's a Lenormand card of coffin, which could definitely denote like this person may have had a loss in their family. If not that, then some type of undoing. They're going through some type of ending. Whether it's the ending of who they've been in the past, and so they're going through like personal transformations. Maybe like one thing that's coming through for a specific few of you is like their home, the home that they like where they live, that's kind of coming undone. So it doesn't like, so if this person is married, it could be like that marriage. if it's not that, like, the people that they consider family might be having some type, like, there's some type of destructive drama to the point where it's really weighing on this person. Whatever the case is, there's something that's really weighing this person down. It's something that's taking up a lot of their time and energy. This is going to be true for all of you. It's to the point where, like, their attention just is not on you. And it cannot be right now. And that's just something that's really coming through. Now, if none of those things are true, one final thing that could make this your reading would be if this person has gone through something that's keeping them at home or keeping them stationary in one place. So maybe like a hospital or like a rehab or something. Just something that's keeping them in one place. And there being something not super positive about the stay that they're having in that place. So if they're like stuck at home, it might be that they're bedridden. Maybe in some cases they might be like under house arrest. Whatever the case is, something that's restricting them and it's taking a lot of their time and energy. Okay, now again, you want for most of that to be true. If this just doesn't accurately describe the person that you're crushing on, I have no message for you here. Go ahead and click off. But for those of you who you know that this is true, that this is your reading, and you know we've confirmed that we're at the right place, the answer is definitely not right now. Again, because of what's going on, what they've got on their plate. It's just not the time right now. They really don't have the time or space or energy to take you seriously, and you kind of need to give them that grace and that space. There is a level of patience being advised here with the Knight of Pentacles, because the Knight of Pentacles is a slow-moving energy that recognizes the value of moving slow through experience. So there's something about, like, you need to take it slow with this person. You need to understand that if it's not right now, it's because they're going through what they need to, and you need to, like, kind of decide if you're willing to wait or not. Now, I have more to say about that, but I'll get to that in a second, about whether or not you should wait. Temperance being the major card here, is another card of patience, another card of recognizing, like the Knight of Pentacles, the value of the long road because of what you accomplish and what you gain in terms of skill and knowledge because of the long road, because of the experiences that you've had, and how the experiences you've had and everything you've learned inform what it is that you know how to do. And so, yeah, this idea of patience, of the long game, basically. Now, I hate bringing that energy here of the long game, turning this into some type of, like, waiting around for someone to be romantically interested in you. And this is where I return back to whether or not you should wait. If you're going to wait around like a creep and only offer up your friendship because you want something romantic with this person, you're gross. And I am praying that this person finds someone who has their best interest at heart to love them as they need to. Because that's weird for you to kind of wait around. That's just creepy. Now, that being said, if you are genuinely willing to not only offer your friendship to this person, maybe you already have, but like if you're willing to maintain that in a genuine way and accept friendship as a genuine blessing, and you're willing to just accept that for what it is, then if it's meant to be, if you guys are actually compatible, it will be, because this person will eventually cycle out of this phase where they have all of their attention on this one thing, and if you're around and they recognize that you are someone of merit that they want to like be with, then they will. But just right now is just not the time for it. I kind of want to point out how the 3 tarot cards that we have here, and I'm using the Alice in Wonderland tarot, the Disney movie version. The 3 cards that we got all depict the same scene. And if not the same scene, then like it all kind of connects. Because Temperance shows the eat me, drink me potions and cookies, which she drinks to turn big and small. And the Tower reversed depicts her oversized in that house. And then the Knight of Pentacles is that little lizard chimney sweep who is kind of sent in to get her out of the house, and she, like, the chimney sweep recognizes that this task is literally too big for them, that it's going to take a lot more than sweeping the chimney to get this oversized girl out of this house. And so that's the vibe here, is that you are the chimney sweep, you're the Knight of Pentacles here. You need to recognize that there's nothing you can do to help this person deal with what they're dealing with. So get out of the way. Don't offer yourself up and like, oh, if I show them that I'm going to be like a really good partner, if they're going through like a breakup or a divorce, that's weird. Like, no, just go mind your business and offer them friendship when they come around, and when they're ready, they will be. So just recognize your place in all of this, okay? And accept that gracefully. Because the Tower reversed is really showing that this person is going through it, and it's necessary. That this is something that not only necessary, but that it's the focal point of their life right now. And Temperance is really pointing to the fact that this is something that's meant to shape them, but it's also something that is kind of meant to teach you something too. If you've been receiving these lashings that I've been giving, and you're really starting to notice that you're really only wanting to maintain a friendship because the only thing you want is something serious with this person, that's part of the lesson here. Why are you so comfortable with doing that? Why is romance the ultimate prize with someone? Why do you put friendship and anything other than romance in a secondary place than anything else? That's maybe something that you're meant to learn here. There might be other lessons that I might not be picking up on, that you should be gaining from this experience. The point is that it's not just your crush that's going through something that is meant to teach them something. You having a crush on this person is meant to shape you in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's that you make the decision to, okay, I'm gonna offer my friendship and see what comes from it because I do genuinely like this person enough to like accept that, offer that and accept that, if that's all like that's possible here. That's meant to like shape you and give you something in return for it. And if it's not, and you've been receiving these lashings, then reflect on that, and that's what you're meant to gain from it. That you're a little bit of a creep, and that you maybe have some work to do on yourself and on the way that you define love and what you're willing to accept in it, and what you're willing to accept to do for it. But okay, this one was, I mean, for some of you it was a little bit harsh. For others of you, I hope you got what you needed. Godspeed in all of your endeavors. I really hope that this helped, and I hope to catch you at another reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 4, and welcome to this Crush Buster reading. Before we begin, it is really important that you take this first part of the message, which is going to be the 3 Lenormand cards that you're seeing above. Those are going to be confirming traits, basically for you to confirm that you're at the right place. You want to make sure that most of what we talk about, most of what is covered here is true. If you find that just not enough of it is true, maybe 60-50% of it is true, any less than that, or just that, then this reading is not for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a no between you and your crush. It's just that I don't have a message for you here today. That being said, the way your crush is being described. Now, the 3 cards altogether tell me one thing, and this doesn't necessarily have to be true for all of you. But super confirmation if it is. This is likely someone that you've had a crush on for a while. And I would even dare say it's a little bit more than a crush, because it's kind of looking like for some of you, you've been friends. You're close friends with this person. Or you've been friends, maybe not like super close, but you've been friends with them long enough to have paid attention and recognized traits within them that you like. Now, for those of you that isn't true, that you're not friends with them, you're not super close with them, it's just they're an acquaintance or you just don't know them all that well. This is definitely someone that you've still had some time to pay attention to, because dog and heart here are giving me 2 traits that you would have to pay attention to someone to know that about them. With dog is loyalty. So it could be, like, that's where I was getting that friend thing from. But, if it's not that you guys are friends, it's that you've witnessed this person be very loyal, either to their partner if they have one, or like they're a really good friend maybe to those around them. You've noticed that about them, that they're a good friend and or a good partner, if that's something that you've had, if you've borne witness to. I do want to say that don't let the fact that, like, if that first message is true, like, the rest of what I should be talking about in this portion, most of that should still be true in order for you to take the message that's coming through. Don't just let the fact that you've had a crush on a friend for a long time, let that be confirmation enough that this is your reading. So yes, they're loyal. There's something about you like that about them. Heart gives me this idea of they wear their heart on their sleeve. Now that's going to range differently. It could be like they really do wear their heart on their sleeve and they're not at all afraid to express any and all emotions that they are feeling. Or it could just be that they, some emotions, they're very... Okay, let me word it this way. If it's not that they wear their heart on their sleeves, they're very expressive. They're very comfortable with being emotive and expressing themselves, wearing their heart on their sleeve, basically. And that's matched with Sun, which is this confidence, this just like, okay, like being comfortable and being okay in your own skin. And more than that, like genuinely, this person can be regarded as empowered. With Sun, one thing that I'm getting is, and this will range in varying degrees for all of you, but this should ring true for all of you. They have some type of attention. Whether a lot of it or a little is gonna vary. What I mean by a little is that they might be very prominent or popular within a specific group, whether a workplace, a small community, a small group, I don't know, or whether their personality, who they are at their core, in their essence, commands a lot of attention. It doesn't necessarily just have to be about looks. It could be, but it could also just be like their personality is very bright, very infectious. They have a way with people. They have a way with charm. Charm is something that's really coming through. And if it's not like a charm that's one of wit, where, oh, you just listen to them talk and like they're so charming. It could just be that there's something about them that's charming. Like they have this really cool niche job that is very interesting and it makes them very like charming, or something about their style. Like there's just an aspect of charm to them that makes them very get this attention from people. Like people are interested in this person. So, okay. You want most of those things to be true, again, in order for us to confirm that this reading is about you. Okay, so not half of it, not some of it, all of it or most of it, most of that should ring true for you. If it is, I am so sorry to report that it's gonna be a no. It's not that you are insufficient. It's nothing about that. It is just that you two are incompatible. You just exist on different planes. You play in different fields. You do different things. Even if you work in the same place, even if you are part of the same communities, even if you have a lot in common, the way that this person operates just does not compute well. It doesn't combine well with the way that you at your core do things. And it really isn't a matter of you shaping yourself and bettering yourself to meet this person. It's not about one being better than the other. It's just that you are different. And in order for you two to work, it would take drastic changes on both of your parts it would just be unnecessary. There are people who are compatible with them now, and the same is true for you. There are people who are compatible for you as well. Now, that doesn't mean, if it's a crush and this is someone pretty to look at, they're nice, you like being around them, and you know that it's, you're just not going to pursue anything beyond that, cool, take that with you. Thanks for being here. For those of you who need a little more elaboration as to why this just won't mix, you are being described as the Queen of Cups, but not just the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Cups reversed. Now, there is a part that the Queen of Cups reversed in this specific reading is coming up reversed so that she could be facing the Emperor, which is describing the person that you have a crush on. And how do I know that the Emperor is describing your crush and not you? Well, because of the Sun card. The Sun brought to mind the way that the outer edges of the Sun that can be viewed when done safely is called the corona. What's visible during an eclipse, corona is Spanish for crown, and crowns are what royalty wear. Now, you yourself, being described as a Queen of Cups, yes, you have a corona as well. You have a crown as well. But since the first layer, which the Lenormand layer, was about them specifically, and because they are being described as the Sun, which is the focal point of our solar system, and because the Emperor card here itself has this really cool background, which looks like it's not sun rays, but it looks like sun rays. It's pretty clear to say that they're being described by the Emperor, and that you're being described as a queen. A minor arcana card, and they're being described as a major arcana card. Let me be very clear that it is not coming through energetically at all as the reading or the universe or anything saying that they are better than you. Now, if you know that to be true, don't let me take that away from you. If you know that this person has they're just way out of your league, then okay, take that in stride, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with crushing on people out of our league. I mean, that's healthy. We should have crushes on impressive people, and that's okay. But if you were hoping that something genuine would happen here, it's just they just don't have the capacity to see you in that way because they have a very set standard of criteria. And even beyond that, I mean, think about like an emperor and what that entails. They have all of these responsibilities and all of these things going through their mind, and really their choice in whoever they want to be with because they are so impressive. And it's not to say that you are not impressive. It's just that in creating a life, wanting a partner, they're looking for someone that can equally impress them. Not just like it's not that you're not impressive in your own way. It's just they're looking for something that you cannot offer. And that's okay. That's not a you problem. That's not me saying that you kind of suck. No, not at all. It's just a fish is going to be better off with a fish, and a bird is going to be better off with a bird. The Queen of Cups reversed, and take this only if it's true for you. If this feels like news to you, like, what does that really mean? No. This should really only be a confirmation for you. And it's spoken here, it can be an uncomfortable thing to hear, but it is spoken here as a way to validate your experience, okay? For some of you, a specific few of you, the Queen of Cups reversed here is kind of painting you in a bit of a a melancholic light. One where maybe you're going through something right now, maybe something's weighing you down, maybe past heartbreaks, maybe past trauma is something that really weighs you down. And if it's not that, then it's just it's a genuine sadness that you carry with you, this weight that you carry with you. And it's something that you haven't really processed yet, and so you carry it into every one of your interactions. And this sun energy very likely it's either that they've worked really hard to weaken the hold of their traumas, their past, their sadness, whatever it is. They've worked really hard to not sever ties, because that's never possible, but to weaken its hold over them. That could be true. If it's not that, it's that they just don't operate that way. They just don't think that way. They have the type of energy where they don't need to dwell, and they're just fine going on about their lives. And so even that's an incompatibility where they're not super emotional, and you kind of are. And we kind of need to, if we're kind of like, allow me a second to create a moment where you see it from kind of their perspective. Someone who's bright, like yes, if they're super kind and they're a good friend and you're a friend to them, of course they're always going to have space for you and they're going to listen to you and they're going to, be there for you if that's, true for you. And even if it's not, like maybe if they don't really know you, maybe this is just a detail that they've noticed about you. Like, oh, they kind of just always seem down. And like, that's why they just don't like, you're not someone on their radar because they just recognize this about you and they recognize it as an incompatibility. Now, whatever. This isn't about them. What I was trying to point out by that is if it's something or a lot of things or however many things that you understand you need to process through, do the work. Allow this person to be an inspiration for you, not to motivate you to become good enough for them that they'll accept you. No, don't ever do any internal work for someone else. No. Then you're basing yourself off of someone else, and when they stop existing in your life for whatever reason, and let's face it, this person is not going to exist in your life because, as we've established, they're looking for something else. If they're even available, because the way that it's coming through, it's like they're completely unavailable to you. This might be like someone in a committed relationship, kind of like we were picking up with Dog. So, like, just allow that to be an inspiration. Like, okay, they're so bright. They're so, maybe the way that you regard it, unaffected by like the things of their past or whatever, that, don't put this person on a pedestal or anything, but like understand like, okay, maybe you don't have to be exactly like them, but maybe it's like, maybe there is a merit to working through those things so that I too can experience some peace or some relief from this weight that I carry. If that's true for you, if that's ringing true for you, you're at a great place with pick-a-cards. It's a great place to kind of start dipping your toes into what's really waiting to be processed by you. And that's not just me plugging my own channel. No, that's me plugging the tarot community here on YouTube, anywhere, like where you can get a pick-a-card and you can have that energy read. Now, that it's a great place to start, yes, take it further. Right? Like whether it's not just about listening to it and applying it as you can, like actually taking the advice in those readings and, turning it into an actionable, something that you can actually do day to day in the mundane world to generate the results that you want. Take it a step further if you feel so called to, if you feel the need to, like maybe something like therapy might be of benefit, which can be daunting, but there are so many resources out there to help you kind of figure that out. Maybe it doesn't have to be therapy. Maybe it's just about, you have someone that like not only you can trust, but that is willing to listen. Maybe, sit down and get comfortable with just relieving yourself of the things that you're thinking about, the things that weigh you down. In Spanish, I don't know if it's like a phrase, my mom says it, where she says, desahógate. And literally translated, if you don't know Spanish, it's like undrown yourself, where it's just like, let these things out. Like, don't just leave them inside to like fester and weigh you down. Like, let it out. Let people hear about it. Of course, people that you trust and people that you can be vulnerable with. Because the Queen of Cups energy, like really you being described by that card really denotes to me that there is a benefit to you releasing pent-up emotion. The Queen of Cups in the traditional Rider-Waite depicts, her cup is the only cup in the whole cups suit, and I'm talking about the Pamela Coleman Smith deck, not any other one. She has the only cup that's covered. And in old Marseille decks, the Ace of Cups has a covering, and both of those cups, this covered cup gives this idea of the capacity to like let that emotion swell up inside instead of releasing it and expressing it. So yeah, that would be of benefit to you if what I've been saying so far, if you really do feel like there's something that weighs you down, it would be of benefit to you. Now, maybe you already know that, and if you already know that, then cool, I'm glad to affirm that for you. If you didn't, do not be afraid. Don't be afraid of yourself. It's okay. There is nothing but peace and relief to be gained. And if it really is true about this person that you can recognize that they have done their work, then they're evident proof that there is merit to sticking to this path. My friend, however true this reading was for you, however it found you, I really hope that it had something for you and that it helped. Godspeed in this and all of your endeavors, and I really hope to catch you at another one of my readings. And if not one of my readings. If that last part of the reading was for you, then I really hope that this is just one of your first steps towards all of that. I hope to catch you in another one, though.